Good morning, everyone. As always, place the cross on first. I'm kind of up early today. Had to do something a little different. Uh, anyway, it don't matter. I'm up early. And when I got back from doing what I had to do, first thing came to my mind was do a video. And as always, place your cross on first. No matter what time of day it is. You know, one thing I'm going to tell y'all about me, I love doing this. It's like my day don't start off right unless I seek God first. Like one of the first things I try to do, I try not to look at my phone. I try not to do anything. Only reason I look at my phone is my alarm go off, but I try to seek Him first early. It just helps me get through my day, and I encourage others to do the same. You know, but that's it. Just put your cross on, people. I got a message for you today. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever. Amen. Today I'm going to read from Judges. Shortly after Joshua's death, God was leading people by judges. Kings didn't come to later. You got judges, then you got Samuel. After judges, the people wanted a king for them. But he gave them the promised land. They in the area where they go, and God told them not to dwell with certain individuals because they would change their hearts and they would worship other gods. He gave them all these stimulations. You know what I'm saying? And yet still, the people go against it. But anyway, let's let the word do what it do. Judges chapter 2. And the angel of the Lord came from Gilgal to Bochum, and said, I made you go up out of Egypt, and have brought you unto the land which I swear unto your fathers. And I said, I will never break my covenant with you. And you shall make no league with the inhabitants of this land. You shall throw down their altars, but you have not obeyed my voice. Why have you done this? Now, he comes with the facts. Come with him. Hey, what he told them, though? He said, I will never make my covenant with you. But what can cause the covenant to be broken with the Lord? He said, I will visit the iniquity upon the children to the third and fourth generation of them that hate me, them that basically disobey my commands. He's like, why have you done this? You see, we live in a world where we love to embrace new stuff. The Lord has been with them all this time, showing them signs and wonders, this and that. And it's like, hey, let's do what they do. You understand? Let's do what they do. Let's take Egypt. He brought them out of Egypt. They had gods and stuff there. But did their gods deliver them? No. God delivered them through Moses. You understand? If you pay attention with this Bible, God has a kind of pet peeve against Egypt. There's something about that place. But you know what? In this world we live in right now, it's like the rise of the Egyptians are. The Egyptian way of thinking is coming back. But if due to history, every civilization that excelled themselves against God is no longer anymore. So think in regards to our civilization that we live in now. We want to start allowing people to worship how they want to worship, bring their stuff into our land, do this and do that. What you think's going to happen? Anyway, that's just a side note. Wherefore I also said, I will not drive them out from before you, but they shall be as thorns in your sides, and their God should be a snare unto you. Why is a lot of things going on in this world? Let's read that again. Wherefore I also said, I will not drive them out from before you, but they shall be as thorns in your sides, and their God shall be a snare unto you. And it came to pass, when the angel of the Lord spake these words unto all the children of Israel, that the people lifted up their voice and wept. And they called the name of that place Bochum. And they sacrificed there unto the Lord. And when Joshua had let the people go, the children of Israel went every man into his inheritance to possess the land. And the people served the Lord all the days of Joshua and all the days of the elders that outlived Joshua, who had seen all the great works of the Lord that he did for Israel. And Joshua the son of Nun, the servant of the Lord, died being 110 years old. Wow. One thing you're going to realize something. It's like, they'll get it right, then they'll get it wrong. They'll get it right, they'll get it wrong. We, same way. You understand? And they buried him in the border of his inheritance in Timnath-Heres, in the mountain of Ephraim, on the north side of the hill Gash. And also all that generation were gathered to their fathers, and there arose another generation after them, which knew not the Lord, nor yet the works which he had done of Israel. You know what one of the biggest problems of this world today is the children know not the Lord. You understand? It's like it fades. But think about what he was saying. They shall be as thorns in your sides. These other gods shall be a snare unto you. They're going to always be around because of constant rebellion against God. It is what it is. But if you love God and you chose him, like Joshua said, you're good. And they forsook the Lord God of their fathers, which brought them out of the land of Egypt, and followed other gods of the people that were round about them, and bowed themselves unto them, and provoked the Lord to anger. And they forsook the Lord and served Baal, however you want to pronounce it, and Ashtaroth. One of his first commandments: no other gods before me. Now don't think about it as, well, I worship God first and worship them second. No, don't look at it like that. No other gods. I was debating with one of my, not debating, but talking about the word of the Lord with one of my cousins the other day. And he was talking about the Egyptians and how they were strong and this and that. And they had many gods and all this and that. Well, we know that. You know, I believe in their gods. I don't worship their gods. Mm-hmm. You understand? I worship my God, you know. And the thing is, a lot of people are trying to go through history, trying to go through history lessons, trying to learn about past this and past that and past that. Well, this book was written by man. Well, every document that you have in your face is written by man. But the thing is, you will distort your reality of thinking when you start trying to believe everything. God talk about this. Their God shall be a snare unto you. Think the world we live in. There's so many ways people believe you could get to heaven. So many different belief systems. Some people believe in reincarnation. You understand? All this other stuff going on in this world, people. But let me tell you something. As for you and your house, you just serve the Lord. If you're going to serve the Lord, you serve the Lord. We was talking about a lot of things, but I'm not going to go into that too much right now. But let's just say what the Lord was saying. They forsook the Lord and served Baal and Ashtaroth. And the anger of the Lord was hot against Israel. And he delivered them into the hands of spoilers that spoiled them. He sold them into the hands of their enemies round about, so they could not any longer stand before their enemies. Now, let's think, people. It's not too many races that have not been enslaved. A lot of times enslavement happens because of things of such this. Many other reasons, but this is one of the main reasons enslavement has happened. You know, like I'm going to talk to a specific demographic today. I'm going to talk about what's fresh in people's memory. Africans. I guess my descendants. You understand? Take the land. They say Africa is that's the birthplace of humanity. Africa is. Right? It's where everything began, where everything started. Where God first formed man in the garden. Right? And a lot of black folks believe the first people in the world were African Americans. Well, that may be true. I don't know. It doesn't matter to me. But let's say if that is true. Let's say if your concept of thinking is that, right? That black people are the chosen people. They are the people that God moved from Israel. Or even the Egyptians were black people too. Okay, let's put it out of this. Okay. So that means you got a side of African Americans that's evil and a side that's of God. But the biggest problem that they had was constantly trying to go back to Egypt or worship other gods. And every time they would do this, they provoked the Lord to anger. Every time throughout history, when people turned about God, they was delivered to the hand of their enemies. Babylon. The list goes on. Every time they turn from God and start doing what the land does, what people do in their other lands, they worship their other gods, and every time misfortune happens. Look at this world we live in now. But the thing is, you'll see something. It's a pattern. He'll send them to a new land, put them in captivity, right? And then he'll bring the word of the Lord back up in that new land, right? He'll give his words back to you after he'd driven you away. Just think about it. You keep defiling these different lands. So he takes you to a new land. And then he gives you his word again. As he didn't give it to you 1,000 times. Now take the Africans. You know, they say all kind of witchcraft and stuff goes on in Africa. I talk to people from Africa. They say it's dangerous over there. It's that thing, that right there, voodoo, witchcraft, hoodoo, whatever you want to call it, sorcery, is real powerful over there. And they worship different deities over there. Now look at this pattern. Along comes some people. Now, I've been researching, I've been reading the Bible, I've been listening to the book of the prophets now. You know, God strengthened Nebuchadnezzar. He said, Nebuchadnezzar, my servant. Nebuchadnezzar was a servant of the Lord to take over his people. Wow. Think now. I'm trying to give y'all some backlogs. All right. So the Africans be taken from their home of Africa and being enslaved in America for years and years and years and years. It's always seemed like it's a 400-year period or something. I don't know what's up with that. But it happens over and over again. And there was, guess what? After the Lord let the people who brought us over here give us this book and take us back to the basics, what happens after we start being free again? We start going right back to Egypt. We start going right back to the ways that he's been trying to take away from us, the ways of our ancestors. We keep going back to the same thing. And then we're like, why are black people treated so horribly? Now, this is the thing. If black people are the chosen people, and you keep rebelling against God, do you think it's not going to be consequences? But what about the other people that do what they please? Well, what if you claim to be the chosen people of God, and you keep rebelling against God, and you keep going through the same misfortunes? Look at the African Americans. The majority, they love gold and jewelry just like their, I don't know, their Egyptian ancestors. Not mine. I don't know what they are. I don't know where I came from. I ain't trying to research that far back. I know the Lord gave me this word. Like it's part of the debate I was talking about yesterday. Why they're putting our statues, that's what the debate was, the talk was about, putting our statues and our ancestry into museums and things of such. You think they're doing that to, let's read this again. And their God shall be a snare unto you. They put it there, it's allowed to be put there for a reason. It's sort of how you take it. You want to go backwards? They're destroyed. You see, people embrace the dark arts. They embrace the Egyptian way of thinking, the different ways of worshiping God. And it never ends well. Now think, what's the newest nation known to man? God is damn near ran out of land to cleanse, to put you in, to cleanse. It's mostly all the land in the world is almost occupied. God will move you somewhere and have you take over and put his words back in, and it get defiled, it get worse, move you again. Look at where we at now. You don't think we in the last days, people? There's not too many territories left for God to spread his word. Yeah, he'll allow your enemies to overtake you. And then he'll put his word right back there. It never fails, people. Look at the history. People love history. Look at the history. Every civilization that exalted itself against God, now, two things going to happen. Actually, one thing always going to happen. They're going to fall. But they're going to rise for a little while. Babylon was a great civilization. Rich. I've been to Babylon. Rubble. Nothing. Rubble. Been there. Been to the river Euphrates when I was in Iraq. And you know, it's crazy, when I was there, I felt something. I wasn't even spiritual then. It was just like, wow, Babylon, the great city has fallen. Take this country we live in. Everything's allowed, but it's okay. God says it. Ain't nothing new under the sun. Anyway, people, let's go. And the angel of the Lord was hot against Israel, and he delivered them into the hands of spoilers that spoiled them. He sold them into the hands of their enemies round about, so that they could not any longer stand before their enemies. Now take every race in this world. Most of them been enslaved. Koreans been enslaved by Koreans. Chinese been by Chinese. Irish by Irish. Spanish by Spanish. One thing you want to realize is, throughout history, God, when it's the first city that tried to excel itself against God, he separated us to people of different languages and different dialects. In every history, you see, the Bible is not going to cover everything about the world. It's got a basis to it. All people were created by God, right? But you see what happens to the lands once God removes himself. Or say the people remove themselves from God. He allowed the enemy to take over. He allowed Buddhism to rise. He allowed the Muslim faith to rise. He allowed whatever faith to rise. He would give them over to the imagination of their own heart. But it's up to you not to let those deities and those false God worship get you. Yeah, we're supposed to talk to love everyone. But we also got to embrace their belief systems. All right, people. Wheresoever they went out, the hand of the Lord was against them for evil, as the Lord had said, and as the Lord had sworn unto them, and they were greatly distressed. Nevertheless, the Lord raised up judges, which delivered them out of the hand of those that spoiled them. And yet they would not hearken unto their judges, but they went and whoring after other gods, and bowed themselves unto them. They turned quickly out of the way which their fathers walked in, obeying the commandments of the Lord, but they did not so. And when the Lord raised up judges, then the Lord was with the judge and delivered them out of the hand of their enemies. All the days of the judge, for repented the Lord because of their groanings, by reason of them that oppressed them and vexed them. Let me pause and I will continue.